If we could, please, would like to welcome to the stage the Director of Personal Statement, Juliane Dressner. The producer of Personal Statement, Beth Levison. And the amazing people whose stories you have seen tonight, Caroline Jimenez, Enoch Gemma, and Andrew Greenwood.
Great. Okay.
Musical children. What? No. There's enough seats. Go ahead. Solo.
All right. So how many mics do we have? 3? Okay, we're going to pass them around a little bit.
No, we got loud before.
Let me use one for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, what a pleasure to have this full contingent up here in Vermont. I'm going to start with a question, and we'll open it to the audience too, but I want to start with a question to our 3 student activist leaders. How did participating in the making of this film affect you?
You can start.
Well, how did it affect us?
Yeah, I mean, suddenly, I'm just curious, and I have some thoughts of it myself, but I'm just wondering, suddenly you're in your, senior year of high school, right? Was it 1 year that was filmed, or was it 2 years? 1 year?
It was 1 year, yes.
1 year. Okay, so suddenly there's this film crew, taking footage, and you're interacting with your friends, you're in football practice, you're a lot, and you're very natural, unbelievably, all of you. We capture all of these fabulous moments, which Julie certainly deserves huge credit for in terms of just being able to be there and to not intrude and to allow these young people to be so natural and live their lives. We really observed so much intimate detail during the course of this year, which is just fabulous. I'm just wondering how it affected you. Did it seem like what you were doing was bigger? Were you self-conscious? Did it? I mean, you're involved with this whole project for a long period of time, months on end. How did you come out of it? I mean, just anything you can say.
Okay. Well, I would say it was very scary at first, and it kind of took a while for me to get comfortable. I feel like when it came back to us sitting down and looking at some of the footage, and you're seeing yourself on the computer, and it's on this big set, and you see all the edits that they're making, and you look at some the previews and stuff. I have to say that it definitely woke me up, because I'm I really went through that. I can't believe it, and it was captured so well, and I'm I have to get it done. It definitely was like a wake-up call for me, because I don't know how things are gonna unravel, and just I guess I'm kind of seeing the obstacles I faced and how they were conquered, and then how I'm continuing to go through more obstacles. I'm I can totally do it, because look at me right there in that part of the film. So of course I can do this next one, so I have to say it was a wake-up call.
It was a wake-up call, and it sort of gave you some sense of strength and confidence and momentum towards what you were trying to achieve. Yeah. Okay. Caroline, any thoughts on that?
Well, for me, it wasn't really a wake-up call, because I was already awake. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, I was already determined, but it's just, I get really emotional every time I watch this film, especially when we get to Jesus. Especially when we get to the part where you guys get to see that I didn't get into Smith. I really never have allowed anybody to see that part of me where I am so vulnerable. Nevertheless, it does feel good to know that there's a movie out there that's going to remind me of all the mistakes I've made. Because I am a person that I am so happy, like I learned so much from my mistakes, so I keep making them. So I can keep on learning. But it was definitely a good experience, mostly because it reminds me that I was able to help all the young people like me and like myself. So it is a good thing to look up to every single day.
For me, being in this film was a wake-up call also.
You look sleeping.
Sleeping? Yeah, on the program. But it was definitely a wake-up call. It was also like an eye-opener. Well, yeah. I was really shy in high school, but being in this film, being a part of this film, and a part of Cara really helped me voice my, advocate for myself and my peers. And surprisingly, until the first time I saw this film, I was unaware of the impact that we had, like how big of an impact we had as youth leaders, and in our high schools and all over the city actually. So I'm glad Julie made this and invited us to be a part of it.
And thank you for being here.
So Julie, is this your second film?
First feature length.
First feature-length film, wow,
Okay.
unbelievable. So, two things. A, how did you come to the project? And how did it affect you? There's lots of discovery in this film. You didn't know when you started where it was going to end up. So, where did you start? What was in place? What drew you to it? And what did you discover through this process? Some of that.
I definitely learned a lot from this process. In terms of how I came to it, I had turned, this is a second career for me, and I had worked in program development for different kinds of social programs, and I had been doing work sort of researching and writing about youth organizers. And I was completely inspired by them, and I realized that just from what I was writing, people didn't quite get how powerful and amazing these young people are who are taking on problems in their communities and addressing them themselves. And that's part of the reason why I turned to film. And I had made some shorts about youth organizers working on police reform and immigration reform. And when I learned that young people were working and to fill the college guidance gap in their schools, working as college counselors, I immediately realized this is something very interesting. I could learn a lot from looking at what they're doing and getting to know them. And it didn't take long after I met them on the first day of their training to realize that this is going to be a longer film than the shorts I had been making, and that I was going to want to see what happened. Did they get into college? Where did they go? So that's where it started.
So, I was saying earlier today, what makes an effective documentary is really multidimensional characters. Characters that you just can't take your eyes off of. And, wow, totally. You had those characters. And you captured them in these intimate moments. So there was obviously lots of filming and lots of being there, and also, again, not intruding. And so what was that process like? How many days do you think you spent with them? You were in their homes, you were on the street with them, you were in their school. And were there challenges in terms of just getting what you felt would add up to a compelling story?
There's a lot of footage that we didn't use, and part of the reason why I think in the end, in the edit room, we realized we did have a film and that it would work is because I was filming a lot of days with everyone, just showing up, and it's really interesting. Like, there are times when we would work together, like, let's make sure, we would plan. It was very collaborative. We would figure out together when should I for certain be there. On the day that you're going to check, did you get into the college? We would make sure that I would be there. But then there were some days when really amazing things happened that ended up being in the film, where it was just like, well, they didn't say something was happening, but I was going to show up. and then that phone call that Enoch makes to you know, the admissions counselor happens. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is definitely going to be in the movie.
Who choreographed that anyway?
Had some help from Chris Brown for that one.
Beth, how did you get involved in the film and what did you do as a producer? Producers have so many different ways in which they can play a role. Just curious.
I think I had come recommended to Julie by a mutual colleague, and I think it was late 2015, early 2016. I was really in the weeds on another film, 32 Pills, which was here. And anyway, I was really in the weeds, and she contacted me, and she had like a 20-minute sample reel at the time, and I really didn't think that I had the capacity or could help. She was sort of facing challenges around story and fundraising and shaping the project, both narratively and kind of in terms of getting it out into the world. And anyway, I watched the 20-minute reel, and there are these moments when you watch reels and you get goosebumps or you cry or you just have such a reaction where you know this is something really special. And I just found these guys, all of them, just irresistible. And I was also just so driven by my conversations with Julie about how hard she'd been working herself and self-sufficient. I mean, she'd been really remarkable for quite a period of time. And so I felt like this, you know, I gotta throw her a lifeline. What's that ring, you know, in the ocean? So anyway, so I came on board, I think in early 2016, about that time. And since then I've been, I don't know, just helping on all kinds of fronts. Shaping, narratively, how we make the edit work, fundraising, selling the film. So we're really excited. The film is going to be a national PBS special. In summary, yeah.
I have one more question and open it to the audience, and that's just for our three students. Where are you now? What's going on, and what have you discovered yourselves being in college that you didn't expect?
Can we stop now because I have like a long story.
Oh, sorry, what's the second question?
Well, first of all, where are you now?
Okay, well, I go to Damon College in Amherst, New York.
Can we stop now because I have like a long story.